Hi, I'm James Brookes, and welcome to From the Factory Floor, a conversational podcast about all things startup and tech, brought to you by the folks at Thestartupfactory.tech.
And welcome back to another episode of From the Factory Floor. As ever, I'm your host, James, and we managed to get Alexa back. How you doing, Alexa?
Good, thank you. Good to be back.
I mean, we've just annoyed anyone now who's listening out loud on their Amazon device, but that's their fault for having that one. How you doing, Alexa?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
So, it's quite a straightforward one today. Rather than going deep tech, I can actually join in with this, but obviously we're really focusing on the event that you've got coming up, Alexa. It's the fifth, sixth, how many Pragmatic CTO events have we even done now?
So I lost count. I think it's the third year. We usually do 3, 4 a year. So
Yeah, double figures.
Yeah, close to double figures, definitely.
And the fact they've got bigger and better every time bodes well for the next one, which is the 27th of September, I believe.
Yes, in 2 weeks' time.
Just a little plug there for anyone who's free that evening, wants to hear some. Well, we'll find out what it's about actually. So, what are you? What are the things that you're covering off in Pragmatic CTO this time, Alexa?
So I think we always try to focus on technology, but technology with a slight angle on startup and building new products. And this time we have two amazing speakers talking about teams and from slightly different perspectives. One of the talks is about prioritizing for tiny teams, and another one about high performing team as well, which I think quite interesting, very similar but very, very different angles on the same topic. We also have one founder talking about their experiencing about building a product, which is always a nice story to add to the mix.
No, I really enjoyed last time how the two talks were very different topics, obviously, because one was IP, one was about processes, and then obviously Andy from Perceptro got up and gave us a little talk about how he was getting on. And spoilers for anyone listening, he's actually going to be hopefully the next person on the podcast with me. So let's go into the first one about the sort of tiny teams and what do you think is it that why is this important for sort of the startups that we work with and the type of people who are going to be attending Pragmatic CTO?
I think this will be something that a lot of founders will recognize themselves in with the big ideas and visions and wanting to build something, but they will start with a team of one, maybe two. So it's not a team in a sense of any medium large organization recognized, but nevertheless very important group of people, or even if it's one person, to deliver some value to it. So I think it is critical that you can, as a whatever you're building, you can start small, and that means starting with small teams as well.
Yeah, I mean rather than tiny teams, I like army of one because it feels a bit more appropriate for the amount of work, especially when it's like a single founder.
Definitely good term, army of one. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Because we've seen a lot of the startups we talk to, if it's sometimes just a founder, but a lot of times we see they've got a friend who's come in with them as a technical co-founder who's taken that role as CTO, or when really they're not just a CTO, they're the junior dev, senior dev, team lead, head of engineering, and CTO all rolled in one. So, how you get the most out of those people, and helping those people focus on what's really important. When we focus a lot on MVPs and making sure we're building the smallest thing, I think there's probably going to be a lot of help there for people who find themselves in that sort of role at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Matt, who is going to speak on this topic, has a lot of experience and a passion for tech and starting small as well. So I think it'll be very insightful for everyone who comes along.
And then you mentioned the second talk was about sort of high performance and high performance secrets kind of thing. Have you had any hints as to what those secrets might well be?
I have no idea what Rob will talk about. Another very experienced fractional CTO and technologist. So I'm sure he has a lot of experience and a lot of secrets to share with the audience. But I think it is, the thing that connects the tiny teams and the high performance secrets will be probably something around doing the right thing at the right time, and about prioritization, because that will make the biggest difference. But I don't want to give out too much. So I think, if you come and hear what Rob has to say, I think it'll be of great value.
No, I think that, again, kind of like you said then, like obviously we focus on MVPs, but at TSF we've got a team of 8 of us now who are very experienced in this. I think especially when you're new to sort of the startup world, looking at MVPs, I think sometimes, I think we've seen it when we do our scoping sessions, people get really, they're finally getting to see a reality of their idea and how to scale that back and how to really prioritize what's important. I think we've often seen that's where some of the biggest challenges are, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think it is. It comes with with the work we do, and it is quite a broad topic. Every technology team will have to prioritize at certain point, and make sure that they're building the right thing. And those that are the high performing ones, the one that do the most, deliver the most value, are not only good at delivering, but also at picking at what should be delivered first, second. And if you're a founder, even more important in the startup world, because you come with this grand vision, you know what you want, but then you have your early customers, and they also think they know what they want, and you are kind of inundated with the requests and features and things you want to do and add to your product, and it can be overwhelming, and you want to do everything because you want the perfect product, but that's typically not the recipe, or the best path forward, really. What is really is identifying what is going to be a biggest impact and the broadest impact to the most of your customers, and the most of your most important customers, and for your kind of vision and a message you're trying to push through. And then if you prioritize those, then the results will be better, even if they're done with the small teams and not a lot of resources.
Yeah, I think I think, and it's the reason why we always start by discussing what's the mission, what you're trying to achieve with the MVP, and really staying true to that, to really focus your mind when it comes to discussing features and prioritizing. Client X has come in and said this, and to some extent you want to chase the money, but also you want to make sure it works for 80% of your clients. You don't want to be building, without going too far into the tech and what might be discussed. If you build a feature for one, build it for all, because you don't want to be managing multiple instances of your product. You just want your code base, you want your product, have your clients feed into it, and knowing what's the most valuable to do first. I think shows some of the importance of the CTO role of being able to advise founders, especially non-technical founders, on what some of this stuff and what they should be doing next, and not just necessarily looking at actually if we build this for this person, we'll get this contract, but actually in the long term that might really hamper some of the plans for expansion.
Yes, absolutely. It is true, and it's asking yourself, whether you're a founder or leading a team, asking yourself why you're making any decision you make, and why you're doing and building anything you do, and you have to have a strong answer to those if you want to make sure you are building the right things. Because if you are not sure, or if you're doing this to make one person happy, or your manager happy, or your whatever investor happy, and it won't help with more traction for your product, more revenue, better bottom line, that maybe that's not the right reason to do this.
No, and I think, and it kind of comes down to the point as well. It's the outcome that you're aiming for here. It's when you're trying to have this team, so that this army of one, having them be effective and be at the highest level of their performance, being clear on what outcomes you're trying to get from your product and what the output of that is going to be, and why. And again, like you said there, Alex, it's all about why you're doing this, and having the right motivations behind everything. So I think it's really important that when we look at MVPs, and especially scoping it, and we often see it in the first 6 to 12 months of a product, is the most formative from what you're trying to actually achieve and really demonstrate what your USP is. And it's quite hard sometimes, for especially non-technical founders with their army of one in the background, to sometimes mesh and bring that all together. I think that's almost the importance, really, of what Pragmatic CTO is about, to kind of share that a little bit, isn't it?
It is, and one of the reasons why I've started the whole kind of community and then these events is to bring, people with from a tech leadership perspective and connect them with the founders and other stakeholders, investors, um, to build a bit better collaboration and kind of highlight what it is to be a CTO. Because if you take that, what we start talk about, tiny teams, if you're a team of one or two in a startup, you made a lot of decisions. You are practically a CTO every day, because that's the main role of a CTO, is to make the decisions. And if we want to make sure we kind of grow our tech talent and make sure we kind of keep them in-house and in around Manchester and regionally and UK, and then kind of growing from there. It is about sharing and learning, and it is no better way than doing this in kind of these sort of informal settings of Pragmatic CTO event, with a lot of friendly people sharing their ideas and their kind of approaches, and willing to do that as well, and mentor people and kind of grow together. So I think it is one big part of that, which I think will result in a bigger and better community, and making hopefully Manchester tech scene and tech startup scene um, better and better.
Mm. I think you mentioned it there around, doing it together. One of the things I've always enjoyed most about all the Pragmatic CTO events we've done in the past isn't just the quality of the talks, whether it's when you and Eric did them, when we've had people from Infinity Works and people joining in and really providing their stories and their experiences to people who are looking to do something similar, or even when Andy Shuttleworth did his talk last time. I think it's the networking both before and afterwards. So it's a little nudge to people, if you do want to come. I'm sure Alex will be showing the date and time again just before the end. Getting there beforehand, having a talk with people. It's a very relaxed and informal atmosphere. But I think it's so important, both for technical founders and non-technical founders, because that networking is so important. We've seen it in Manchester, haven't we, in terms of people who network and have the ability to share and get advice are often the ones that really succeed.
Yes, and we are blessed in Manchester. There's a good community. There's a lot of good events. There's a lot happening, and I think we can always do more. And I think hopefully Pragmatic CTO has that space there with a bit of a tech angle, but a tech angle that's kind of sympathetic to startups and founders and new tech products and new companies, and growing as well as a company, a person, a techie in all aspects.
Yeah. And again, I can only ever encourage people to try and, if it's not Pragmatic CTO, go and network with, whether it's other developers, and there's so many tech talks in Manchester, whether it's startup events as a founder, whether it's fintech, whether it's funding, whatever the topic. I think it's always important to try and grow your network and share your expertise and have other people's expertise shared with you. And I do think that the Pragmatic CTO events, without just tooting our own horn, are really good for that. And some of the conversations we've had with people have always really helped. And you've seen how some of the companies there have really grown and managed to find some great people in them too.
Yes, I can just invite everyone to come, and maybe I can just say it again. So that the event is on Wednesday, the 27th, 6 p.m. at the Manchester Technology Centre on the Oxford Road, next to Hatch. And we have great speakers. So Matt will be speaking about prioritizing tiny teams. Rob will be talking about secrets of high-performing teams, and we also have our now regular founder focus with Emma, founder of In-House Health, who can tell us her journey as a solo founder and also building a tech product.
As a previous plug to other episodes, Emma was actually one of our guests. So, and I think for anyone who listens to that, she's very straight talking. She had a very interesting journey in terms of how she's got to the stage she's at. So it'll be a great talk to hear in person. So, and there is also pizza and beers will be provided, or wine or soft drinks, whatever people want. So can only encourage you to sign up. We'll put the link in the description below to sign up to the Eventbrite. And other than that, Alexa, I think that's good. So thank you very much for your time. I know you're very busy at the moment, trying to get all our CTO stuff done and helping all of our startups.
Thank you, James. Thanks for having me, and for the opportunity to talk about Pragmatic CTO. I do hope I'll see as many of our listeners at the event, and looking forward to it.
Well, thank you very much, and all of our listeners, thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
I think that just about wraps things up here. If you have any thoughts or questions on anything we said today, get in touch, whether that be through our Twitter @RealTSF or email at hello@Thestartupfactory.tech, or feel free to drop in for a coffee and a chat. As ever, thanks for listening.